What's going on, guys? Justin with 1791. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to be talking about cover and concealment and how that applies inside the home. So let's get into it. Alright guys, I'm sure most of you watching this probably know the difference between cover and concealment, but for the sake of intentionality and thoroughness, I'm going to go ahead and describe the difference between the two. So concealment is some sort of barricade that will only conceal your position temporarily or partially. It is not something that will stop a bullet. Cover is something that will stop a bullet, or something that has a very high likelihood of stopping or impeding the speed of that bullet, to which if it does pass through, it's going to cause minimal to no damage. Think of it like this. If you were out and about in town, and let's say you are, like, I don't know, walking down Main Street in your hometown, and there's always those like rose beds or flower beds on Main Street that are built up with, like, you know, cinder block or some sort of brick, and they're filled with dirt. If there's some sort of shooting in that sort of environment, getting behind that flower bed that's built up with brick and has dirt filled in inside of it, that's actually cover. The difference between that and concealment, for instance, a modern interior door that when you knock on it, it sounds very, very hollow. That is not cover. That is concealment at best. So how does that apply to the home and different things that are inside the home? I think the best school of thought for you to think about is that the interior of your home offers mostly concealment, with very, very few opportunities of actual legitimate cover. For instance, a legit heavy-duty, kind of old school cast iron bathtub, that might offer some decent cover, but just the sheetrock walls of your home that are filled with insulation and the occasional stud or two, that really is nothing more than concealment. Now, earlier I said something that will either stop or greatly impede the velocity of travel of a projectile. That is that still qualifies as cover as far as I'm concerned. So what that can look like is something like a door frame, right? Because if you think about a door frame, there's usually multiple studs, like 2x4s, that are used to frame out that door, and then you're hanging that door on that heavy-duty frame. You're not just like attaching the hinge plates of a door to sheetrock that's not going to hold up. So the door is typically framed out with heavier studs, like 2x4s, usually a few of them. Now, I will tell you right now that 2x4s don't stop most bullets. 2x4s don't, well, it will not stop a common pistol caliber projectile like a 9mm or something like that. A 2x4 is not going to stop a 5.56 or something like that. It's going to greatly deflect a 5.56. Even going through sheetrock is going to greatly deflect a 5.56, like I have here with this 10.5 setup here. But more often than not, it's not going to stop a 5.56. The other thing that you must consider, that if someone is breaking into your home with malicious intent, and if they're armed with a 5.56, while one 5.56 might be stopped or greatly reduced in velocity by a 2x4, there's a few more than one in this thing. And if you think about it from the perspective of some methed out dude that broke into your home, or some sort of criminal gang member or whatever that broke into your home, you guys have seen shooting videos on the internet from like the 5 o'clock news. They don't just rip off one. It's usually a spray and pray, just kind of all over the place in the general vicinity of something that made them nervous. So there's that to consider too. So over here I have Glock 19 with a Surefire light on it. If you have a pistol set up for home defense, or any kind of gun set up for home defense, it's a smart idea to have a light attached to it. Just because that's really going to help you be able to determine IFF, or identify friendly or foe. So there's that to consider as well. Inside the home, back to inside the home, going back to things that are going to have a higher likelihood of stopping a bullet. So you need to think about the construction of your home. Sometimes it's good to even pull out a floor plan or a layout plan of your home. I have an advantage for our home because we did some pretty major remodeling right before we moved in. And we knocked out a wall, and we had to put in a load-bearing beam, and I know that that load-bearing beam connects to a heavy-duty 6x6 vertical post that goes all the way down to the foundation in the basement. Now that beam, that's made out of like heavy-duty hardwood, that is going to have a pretty good likelihood of stopping bullets. I know exactly where that is in my home. It's kind of central to the home, so really kind of no matter where I am, I can kind of utilize that beam if I need to, and utilize my angles to use that to the greatest degree possible as some sort of cover. Now, one other thing that you'll oftentimes find in your home is combinations of cover and concealment, and you can use both simultaneously. What I mean by that, combinations of cover and concealment, is like part of what you're using might be cover. Let's say you're like right behind that load-bearing beam, and that load-bearing beam is only like 6 inches wide, right? And then the rest of that is cover. Well, the thing that you need to realize is like that aggressor that broke into your home, they don't necessarily know where your body is exactly behind that combination of cover and concealment. So sometimes it might be advantageous. Let's say the center half here is the difference between cover and concealment and then open ground, right? You might be like bobbing way out to get like past that threshold of cover and then concealment. You might bob way out and then bob way back to get back into that position of being able to shoot, because as you can imagine, if they see you poke out from a certain location, they may do just like you see in the movies, and they may be putting bullets right through that sheetrock next to where they perceive you may have ducked into. So it's not always a good idea to be like right behind that spot, right? You may need to like be a lot more aggressive in your body movements to get to a position to be able to return fire and stop that threat, versus just standing right there behind that combination of cover and concealment. Now, when it comes to utilizing cover and concealment in the home, it's important to utilize cover and concealment properly. Now, think of it like this. You have Homefield Advantage. You know where the creaky floors are. You know where that piano is. You know where the ottoman is in your living room, whatever. For instance, if someone trips over something, you should have a pretty good idea of where they are in your home based on you utilizing your auditory senses, but also looking at like the way shadows might move in your home. These other tips will give you a good general idea of where they are, and you need to utilize something called controlled exposure, to where you're not just standing around the corner waiting for something. Once you hear and your other senses perceive where someone might be, you need to be able to pop around that corner, hit that light to identify what's going on, and then do what you need to do from that. So again, utilize controlled exposure. Don't just stand there in a fatal funnel. Fatal funnel being obviously a funnel where all of the eyeballs can basically be funneled into one location. Think of like a doorway or a hallway or something like that. If eyeballs can funnel into that one location, bullets can all funnel into that one location as well. So you need to not stand there in that fatal funnel. You need to do what's called controlled exposure, so that you are basically just exposing enough of yourself, basically the gun and your eye, so that you can shoot and then retreat back to that cover and or concealment. Going back to gun choice inside the home, earlier I mentioned that pistol caliber bullets like 9mm 45 ACP, they actually do a really good job of going through materials inside the home, whether it be sheetrock or whether it be studs like a 2x4 or something like that. Just remember, your chosen home defense tool, you need to understand its capabilities inside the home, its penetration factors inside the home, and you need to understand that Those are your capabilities that are inherent to your chosen home defense solution, but you also need to understand the most common likelihood of a home aggressor or a home invader when they come in. The most common weapon that they may choose is a pistol, but it's not uncommon for home invaders to aggress someone's home with a larger firearm. I've seen this is actually becoming a rising trend in criminality, is that bad guys are using like ARs and things like that for home invasions more and more often. But again, if your chosen system is an AR-15, that's actually one of my chosen home defense solutions. My wife's AR-15 is actually under our bed. That's her home defense tool. My home defense tool is my everyday carry pistol that I keep in a special location that is safe and out of reach of my kids. But essentially, my wife's home defense AR is stored cruiser ready underneath the bed. Cruiser ready in common modern vernacular means a loaded magazine, but no round in the chamber. That is my typical prescription for a firearm that is not in my physical possession. Once the gun is in my physical possession, that's when I chamber it and holster it. And for instance, my concealed carry pistol, or if I were to pick up a rifle and I need that rifle, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to rack that charging handle to prime the system, and I'm ready to rock. So home defense, kind of a rifle, or this is technically a pistol with the pistol stabilizing brace. These have advantages because they have 4 points of contact. They are much easier to manipulate and shoot because you have 1 point of contact. Your cheek is your second point of contact. Your pistol grip is your third point of contact. And your support hand is your fourth point of contact. And that is a very stable way to shoot and to be accurate. It's also easier to put things like lights and optics and all the things on something like this. It just makes it more shootable, and then the overall package is much more wieldy for tight spaces. This is actually one of our Light Raider builds from our 1791 Industries brand. The other nice thing about this particular setup with our 1791 Industries ultra lightweight metal technology, this whole setup that you see, this thing literally weighs like 5 pounds and 10 ounces with everything on there. We're talking iron sights, aim point optic, and Surefire Scout Light. This whole thing weighs like 5 pounds and 10 ounces. I take all that crap off there. This thing weighs like 4.5 pounds. So something that's light, handy, short, something with a weapon light on there so that you can positively identify friend or foe. If you're more comfortable shooting that, that's a great idea. Also think about your baked-in teammate that you should be training and getting tuned up so that she is also an advantage to you, which should be your wife if you're married. She should be capable of using said implements as well. Something that I did, I used to train full-time, and now I come on as a contractor to teach a tactical rifle class back home where I'm from. And like once a year I'll do this through a local firearms trainer. And one of my things that I require is I have my salary for contracting the teaching of the class, and then I get to have one free spot in class. And one time I actually gave that free spot in class to my wife so that she could take a proper fighting rifle class and understand how to use her rifle. So make sure that your spouse is getting training on these things. So, all right. So in the middle, I have a shotgun with buckshot. I have one of our 1791 Hunt shotgun shell slings on there. Has 10 shells that are perpendicular, and they're set up so that they're easy for me to get out and load up if I need. If I need whatever's in the gun plus 10 buckshot shells, it is going to be a very spicy party. And when law enforcement arrive, I can imagine what the blood spatter analyst and the forensics team is going to think when if I need all of that. But anyways, I digress. A shotgun has its advantages and disadvantages, something that I used to have on here when I used to think about this a lot more seriously about home defense. You should have a weapon light on your gun. As you can see here, I used to have a pick rail drilled and tapped there, and I had a weapon light on there back when I used to think about this more seriously for home defense. I have since removed that because it was bugging me and I needed that light for something else anyway. So I took that off. But I could certainly put it back on should I decide that I want to lean more towards a shotgun for home defense. Now, I will tell you some reasons why I've started to lean away from it, and why I don't take this more seriously for home defense right now. So, shotguns defeating barriers. Heck yeah. When you pull the trigger on a load of double-aught buckshot, and that slams into a 2x4, I mean, it's like the 4th of July, man. It has some energy, some serious energy. And you got to imagine you have those 9 pellets of double-aught buckshot. Some of that concentration is going to hit that 2x4. And you have a few of those hitting that 2x4 at once, and it's going to put down a serious amount of hate on that 2x4. Some of that stuff's going to rip through. But you have a pattern to your shotgun. Some of those pellets are going to go through sheetrock as well. It's a little bit less controlled, can be a little chaotic when a high velocity projectile hits something. It wants to then divert from its original trajectory. And the main reason why I went away from a shotgun for home defense is because I have family members in my home. My wife, I have kids, and I want to make sure that I'm able to be a little bit more precise. Actually, not a little bit. I want to be a lot more precise with my placement of those lethal implements for delivery, you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why I don't like shotguns, specifically for home defense. They are very, very effective, especially up close and personal, especially in your in-the-home ranges. Very, very effective implement. Just make sure that you're patterning your shotgun. You understand how that spread is going to change depending on the distance that you're firing within, and make sure that you are cognizant of your family members and you have a plan. So that leads me into my next topic, talking about your family inside the home and their locations and considerations for that. For instance, myself and my wife, we are at the end of a hallway on one end, and across that hallway, at the end of that hallway, is my son's bedroom. And then my daughter's bedroom is a little bit further up the hallway between me and the doorway to get into the home. I didn't really like that location. That bedroom would have never worked for my wife because it's smaller. It's not the master bedroom. If I would have had my brothers, that would have been my and my wife's bedroom, the one that's closest to, between us and between the kids and the door. And then the kids' bedrooms would have been at the end of the hallway. I digress. If you're married, you get it. You don't always get to have your vote be the vote. But yeah, so my daughter is between me and the threat. If someone were to break in. So you need to have a plan in place that is disseminated amongst your family. Think of it like a fire drill, but like this is like in case bad guys break in at night drill, whatever you want to call it. But my plan is to take my EDC pistol, or actually not my EDC pistol, I have a separate pistol set up with a light on it, and go directly to my daughter's bedroom to retrieve her. Because no matter what, even though right now she's young, and even if I gave her instructions that, hey, if you hear a loud noise in the middle of the night, you need to come to us, that's not going to work, guys. Not only is, for instance, for me, my daughter is young, she doesn't have enough maturity to do something like that on command. On top of that, she's not trained, all right? So you as the trained individual, the onus is on you to go and retrieve family members and get them to safety. So something goes boom in the middle of the night, I'm directly going to clear that first corner and make sure that the hallway is clear. I'm going to immediately go down the hallway and retrieve my daughter. You need to be digging your corners every time that you come into a danger space and every time that you exit a danger space. For instance, I cleared that hallway originally, moving down the hallway to get to my daughter's room. I'm going to retrieve her, wake her up, And I'm going to then clear that hallway again because something might have happened between the time of me getting to my daughter's bedroom to retrieve her and the moment from me now ready to exit that bedroom with my daughter. And essentially I need to re-clear that hallway. Send my daughter down the hallway to the wife's or to our bedroom to meet up with my wife. My wife's job, once she has the daughter, is to then go across that hallway that I am cleared and I'm holding down, and she needs to go to my son's bedroom and have all the kids together and get everyone on the floor and stay quiet. Why on the floor? Because that should be common sense, but I'm going to go ahead and drill into that. If you're standing up, the percentage likelihood of you absorbing an errant bullet, if there is a gunfight that ensues in your home from this home invader, if you're standing up, the percentage, basically the larger your body mass, the higher percentage likelihood of you soaking up an errant bullet. So crouching is going to reduce that percentage likelihood fairly dramatic, and then laying down on the ground is going to reduce that percentage likelihood even more. By this time, my wife will be armed with her AR-15, and she'll be laying proned out, aiming at the doorway, ready to do whatever. Her and I have a communication, a safety communication, so that she knows if I were to expose myself inside that doorway, I would call out to her and let her know that it's me before I go into that what has now become a danger zone. Basically, that doorway that my wife is covering is a fatal funnel for whatever poor soul decides to step into that bedroom at that point. Because at that point, it's Mama Bear protecting her cubs. Savvy? Outside of that, what my job now becomes is I'm exterior perimeter security. I'm in a different location, and I'm holding down the hallway to make sure that aggressors don't come any further. Now, some guys might have we'll call it the moxie. Some guys might have the moxie of, I'm going to go clear my house. And I will tell you right now that that's unwise. That is unwise to go and clear your house. Because even if you are one of the most dialed in CQB experts out there, if you think about it from a professional scale, even the professionals typically don't do single man room entry or single man CQB inside of a home. It's just not advisable. It is something that may happen at the professional space in an extreme emergency, but that extreme emergency is going to be done by, let's say, cops, or it might be done by military professionals that have an objective that they need to take care of. They have a mission that they need to complete, and we pay those people to go into harm's way and to do very, very dangerous things. And that's a personal decision that each of those officers or soldiers are going to have to do, whether they're going to make the decision to do single man CQB. And don't kid yourself, all right? All of them know the dangers of that if they do single man CQB. I have a family to protect. If I try and do some single man CQB and I get tagged in the back because I don't have that eyes in the back of my head, because real CQB done by real professionals is done in a team. That's the way I used to do it when I was doing VBSS counter-piracy stuff. CQB is a team. When I was doing shipboarding stuff, there was never a room that I went into alone. Like at a very minimum, it was two-man CQB room entry, because our boarding team would break off into pairs to go and do control activities, whether it be to take down the engine room or to take down the pilot house or whatever. Everything's done in pairs. So even at that level, if it's done in pairs, why would I be such a fool to try and think that even though I have a lot of experience and a lot of skill, I'm going to run around my house and do single man CQB like I'm John Wick? It's just not reality. It's very, very dangerous, and I highly recommend not doing it. The best thing to do is to get your family into a safe place, create a hard point with a secondary perimeter that you can hold down. So you're holding down an exterior perimeter that prevents danger from getting past you and getting to your family. All the while, my wife will be on the phone with 911 calling in the cavalry. So that's kind of our plan. Like it or not, that's my family plan. It's been very, very well thought out. So yeah, that's my plan, and I like it. This isn't legal advice. Speaking of legalities, you want to make sure that you understand your state's laws when it comes to home defense. States vary greatly on this topic, okay? They vary greatly. Some states have what is called castle doctrine, where you have a lot more rights when it comes to inflicting serious bodily harm or death on others if they were to invade your home without permission. Other states will literally allow a home invader to sue you if they were to be crawling on your roof, trying to break into your home and steal things, and they fall through your skylight onto the kitchen counter, and a butcher knife falls out and stabs them in the leg. That's a real story. Look it up. So make sure that you understand your state's legalities when it comes to using deadly force to protect your home, okay? I cannot provide a catch-all prescription for how to make sure that you do this safely and legally. What I can do is point you to your own state's legal doctrine when it comes to understanding the use of deadly force inside your home to protect your family. All right? That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Justin with 1791. If you got something out of this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. And until next time, train hard and carry your gun.